Ladies and gentlemen, we work in education. This presentation, hypothetically, is for my college colleagues. We work in education. If we worked in business, private business, it'd be the same situation. The situation is this. Without our consultation, when we work in the professional class, certain types of technology are presented to us, and we have to adopt these technologies to be effective in what we do. We always do that. We've been doing this for every decade. I mean, Microsoft Word, Windows, Google Docs, PowerPoint. What's that thing called? Canvas. You got to use the technology that your employer gives you. I get that. Sometimes the technology, though, is different, and ChatGPT is a lot different. It's living inside my head rent-free. Number one, unlike other technologies, my students are infatuated with this technology that can generate 5,000 words in 5 minutes. And they just love it. They feel so powerful. And the product is not that good, but I'm seeing a lot of it. It's not that good. Then they're coming up to me and they're asking me if I'm going to have a job because they just see me as superfluous, as irrelevant, and they're asking themselves, am I going to be superfluous and irrelevant if I can't use the ChatGPT? So I got to use it. And then they know that the plagiarism detection software is unreliable, so they can just overwhelm us with the sheer overwhelming tsunami of ChatGPT essays. And they also know that it's getting better and better and better. It can do in-text citations. It can do current references now. They can program it so it doesn't use the stock phrases and cliches. One of the things that worries me about ChatGPT is it's kind of like fast food. It gives you this fast product like fast food, and it delivers it so quickly, and it's of low quality. You're essentially eating a Big Mac in written form. Once the Big Mac came out, if you read Fast Food Nation, we never went back to gourmet. It's pretty much a diet of Hot Pockets and Big Macs and tater tots. And I fear that writing, the kind of writing that made us fall in love with writing and become writing instructors, that kind of writing is being replaced by what I would call Big Mac prose. And as we attenuate to that type of mediocrity, that kind of hollowness, that surface level prose, I don't know how we get back. I don't know how you go back in time once you take the entire culture and it gets worse than that. If 95% of all ChatGPT memos and written things for your job is good enough for the task at hand, then productivity and efficiency and money-making concerns will eclipse writing quality. And so where does that leave us? If in-depth writing quality is taking the back seat to this real anodyne, hollow, generic, lifeless, dull, Big Mac type of writing, where does that leave us as teachers? Are we just chatbots? Are we just helping the students become users of machines, not individuals? What is our job? And what is our relevance in this world where ChatGPT is overwhelming us to the point that for many of us it's living rent-free inside the head? What kind of strategies can we have to make ourselves, assert ourselves as being relevant? And so one of the things you want to do, I think, is you want to have some kind of human activities that ChatGPT cannot replicate. So, for example, if your students were writing an essay on Ozempic, GLP-1 drugs, as a helpful tool for weight management, writing an argument, you might want them to have an introductory paragraph where they write about a personal struggle with weight management, and this 300-word paragraph would be their introduction, and it would be due before the entire essay is due. And so you, the instructor, are getting hopefully an authentic personal narrative, an authentic writing sample of your students in a composition class. That's one thing. If your students are doing a paper on the movie Get Out by Jordan Peele, and they're going to write an extended definition of the sunken place. Let's just say they need this extended definition in the second paragraph of their analysis of the movie Get Out. Rather than them take the risk of them having ChatGPT just write an extended definition of the sunken place, you could have them interview each other, break up into pairs, and ask 5 questions about the sunken place as it pertains to the movie Get Out. And then the student would have to synthesize the answers to those questions from the interview and quote the person they interviewed and use that interview as a paragraph that would be scaffolded in their essay on the sunken place. In that regard, you're getting not only their synthesis of those answers, but they had to have an engagement, a conversation with a real human being in your class. If that particular class were online, then they would probably use a tool on Canvas, such as Pronto. So those are 2 very human things you can do. Now, the next 2 things I have not done, but I'm probably going to have to do them. Now, I've already done the things that I mentioned, but let's get 2 more things. Okay. Some of my colleagues do this. It's called multimodal composition. What does that mean? It's academic jargon. Multimodal composition. So here, in addition to presenting an essay, turning in an essay to your instructor, you've got to use other modes, media modes, to show your human engagement with the task. So, for example, let's say there was an argument on GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic, and it's how viable it is in the future. You might have a student write an essay that argues that it is a very sustainable, viable tool for weight management, and a student who opposes that argument, and they could do a podcast in which they have a civil disagreement, and this 20-minute, 30-minute podcast would be part of what they have to turn in. Or they could do a 15-minute video, and they would send you the video in which they give a speech of their essay, of their argumentative essay. Now, for you, the instructor, that's more time. But on the other hand, it was a human task that could not be replicated by AI or ChatGPT. Now, nothing I'm saying is perfect or absolute, because they may have had ChatGPT write some of that content for their speech or for their podcast. And so I'm not saying that any of my solutions are perfect or absolute, but they do bring in some degree of human engagement. The 4th thing, and I haven't done this, but I'm thinking of it. I got this from Questlove. The idea that creativity, writing, content is a long incubation process. What I would want the students to do, probably before the total essay is due, is to write a meta analytical personal reflection. What I mean by that is they would have to write about the struggles, the challenges, and the changes that occurred within them as they wrote the essay. They may have had, for example, a preconceived notion about GLP-1 drugs, and maybe their attitude changed. They may have had some difficulties writing the paper. They had a family member who struggled with an eating disorder or with weight management, or they themselves struggled with it. And they have to bring in this personal reflection part into an assignment that could be 500 words long, and it's something that they would have to turn in maybe a week before the total essay is done. That's something that I don't think AI could replicate, that ChatGPT could not replicate. I think more than anything I've told you today, I think multimodal composition is probably going to be the near future countervailing force to ChatGPT. Looking ahead, I mean, I probably will be retiring in a couple of years, but probably, this is just my guess. You know what's going to neutralize ChatGPT is education goes ahead? Probably gamification, where there's competition and leaderboards and teams and collaborations and all sorts. I think gamification will probably be a sort of a specialization in teaching that will happen in 10 years. And then once students have to use all these media tools to compete in gamification, then they're no longer just using ChatGPT to address a writing prompt. A writing prompt is probably too simplistic in the ChatGPT age. I suspect in the next 10 years we're going to be in the world of multimodal composition and gamification. By the way, there's little I know about gamification, but what little I do know about it, it appears to me that that's going to be a huge way of teaching in the next decade. There's no way colleges are going to be able to prove their worth if they're just giving prompts and students are just using tools to generate these responses to those prompts. The tasks we're going to give students are going to, I hate to say this, just going to be more complicated. They're going to be more involved, and there's going to be more forms of media behind the assignments. So we're going to change. It'd probably be a good thing, though. I mean, a student who can use all these media tools is probably going to be that more effective in the professional world. So that's how I see it. Nothing I say here is absolute. Technology's changing rapidly. But man, we got caught on our heels with the ChatGPT thing, man. It's been living rent-free in the head. That's all I got today, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I'm not going to lecture my beloved colleagues for an hour. I think I'll make it short, and we'll break up into groups and we'll discuss these issues. All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I'm out.